Good evening, this is Generation. If this is your first time watching Generation, this is an English program on Mongolian youth dedicated to sharing the new generation's achievements, values, and interests through a look at their day-to-day life. In today's episode, you'll meet Zanabazar, who is truly a global citizen. He said we can call him Zanaa. Watch our program and find out what a rich life Zanaa has lived so far.
Hi everyone, I'm Zanaa. I'm elated to be part of the generation on MNB World today, and let's check out what's my daily routine. So let's start with the gym today.
Let's see how Zanaa starts his morning. As you see, Zanaa is quite active, and he said he normally works out 4 to 5 times a week, or at least 2 or 3 times a week when he's busy. Let's find out why he likes working out so much.
It helps me to be fit and healthy. That's probably the best part of it. My grandparents are doctors, especially one of my grandmother used to tell me, if you're studying all the time, you're using your brain and you're working like you're doing intellectual job. Instead, you can, just wash your dishes or clean your house. That's like a physical thing to have a little bit, like stress relief from brain to body. So it has to be like balanced all the time.
For the past 4 or 5 years, he's been consistently going to the gym, working on his body.
I try to be consistent on something. So it's like discipline, consistency. That's what I'm trying to work on, because you have to spend like maybe an hour or two to have a battle with yourself, or you have to deal with your emotions. Like, can I carry this heavy weight or not? And I used to say like I can't do it all the time. Like I can't do it. It's too heavy. No. But I started telling myself like, okay, you better stop whining right now. You have to work on it. It's not heavy. You can do it. So that's like a psychological thing going on.
He not only works with dumbbells, but he also quite a swimmer. At the age of 7 or 8, Zanaa started going to the central swimming pool and earned some medals at city competitions. Apart from being a good swimmer and scholar, did we tell you that he is an avid traveler? He's been to more than 70 countries. We asked him about the difference between swimming in a pool versus the ocean.
Oh, it's definitely different. If you're swimming in the ocean or sea, it's full of salt, so you can't really open your eyes. You would want to be careful not to drink any water, because it's like a bunch of salt. Well, it might help you to get rid of some bacteria, but it's definitely not good for your health. Swimming pool is easy because there's no wave, no sand, no pebbles. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about anything. So swimming pool is great. But I had a hard time to swim in Peru, Lima, the capital city of Peru. It was actually the surfing area, surfing beach, so wave was really, really high. And, well, there's no sand, but pebbles all over. So it was really hard for me to stand, and it was disaster. So I like swimming, but I never say, like, I'm a good swimmer. I'm, I achieved something in swimming, but I do like swimming. I just want to keep going because it's a nice hobby.
That sounds quite dangerous, but quite exciting. We're glad nothing happened to you. He said that at the end of this month, he'll compete in another swimming competition. We wish him the best of luck.
So I just finished my workout and swimming session in the morning, and I'm heading to work at my office right now. I can basically work anywhere, anytime I want. Yeah, so let's get it started.
Here we are at Moffice, a co-working space where Zanaa goes to get some work done on his laptop. In February this year, Zanaa came back to his home country after 7 years of studying and working abroad. Zanaa holds a degree in international relations and law. At the moment, Zanaa works as a defendant consultant and freelancer. While working, he managed to make time to talk to us about his current and post jobs.
So I'm working as an independent consultant, freelancer right now. Well, I work for like different NGOs and trying to help with them with their work. I worked in Shanghai for like 2 years. Started working as an English teacher while I was studying there. And then one thing led to another, so I worked for another company as a marketing manager. And I also worked as an intern for one law firm in Shanghai.
One thing we haven't told you, Zanaa not only speaks Mongolian, English, and Chinese, but he also studied Spanish at Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana on a Colombian government scholarship, and he was the first Mongolian to study there. Before that, Zanaa earned a bachelor's degree in international relations from National University of Mongolia because he used to want to become a diplomat. And he earned a Master of Laws degree from Shanghai Jiaotong University, where he studied on a Confucius Institute scholarship. He also completed an academic program in anti-corruption and fostering transparency at the University of Virginia as part of the Leaders Advancing Democracy Mongolia program. So Zanaa, tell us what you think helped you get accepted for those scholarships.
I think, when I was doing my undergrad in Mongolia, I did a lot of volunteer works, and I used to be a member of United Nations Youth Advisory Panel. So I spend actually most of my time, working different jobs other than my studying in undergrad. And you have to have a plan. You have to have a study plan, right? So I showed them my study plan. I want to learn law. I want to study law because I want to think like a lawyer.
Why did you choose to get a degree in law?
The reason why I chose law was because I want to think like a lawyer, number one. Number two, I can use my legal skills for any other jobs, right? Well, if you're working for marketing, you have to edit contracts. You have to work with contracts all the time, so it's kind of like useful.
What did you learn from studying abroad?
What I've learned from studying abroad was I have to be independent, and I'm always on my own. So I can't be sick, I cannot delay, I cannot procrastinate any deadline.
What are you working on today?
I'm working on a few articles based on my master's thesis it was written last year. It took me like 4 or 5 months to write the whole paper, but now I'm trying to publish it in the international publications. So I'm done with my job today, and the works are done. So let's talk about something other than job and school. So let's go to a coffee shop to have a conversation about my interest and hobby, what I like to do in my spare time.
We're now heading to one of the most popular coffee shops in Ulaanbaatar, Coffee Fellows. This place has a small library initiated by Mongolian book podcast Unlock. The books are all donated by Unlock listeners and book lovers. Zanaa is also a book lover, particularly an e-book reader.
It's easier. It's also lighter to read on Kindle. One thing I like about Kindle is if you're reading books in Chinese, you can press on the word and there's a dictionary. If you're probably studying French or Spanish, you can also download the dictionary and just tap on the word and learn about it. Definitely saves the time. And what I really like about Kindle is that I usually send articles that I couldn't read at my work. I just send it to my Kindle, and then I read it in traffic jam. I like learning languages, so I'm trying to keep up with my English or Chinese. So I listen to a podcast every morning. It's like daily news from the New York Times in English, and then there's another Chinese podcast to keep up with language. The name is Learning Chinese Through Stories, and it's my favorite podcast.
Zanaa reads various books about intellect and books about technology, artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and astrology. Zanaa explains why he chose the topic of AI for his thesis, which he is currently working to get published in magazines.
I actually started learning about AI with my master's thesis. It was comparative studies of AI law and regulations in China and the United States. And well, the reason why I started learning about the AI is because we don't have any AI law and regulation in Mongolia, but it has to do with the people's privacy. Like, the cameras are everywhere, like in China. Like, my picture could be taken probably like 10,000 times a day. What I'm really afraid of about the AI is because all those cameras have AI technology in it, and they identify my face on my every single step. So what if AI do like something wrong? What if there is a glitch in the algorithm in AI? That's something I'm really concerned about.
When talking to Zanaa, we kept exploring how lavish his life is and were impressed by all the things he's done so far. Zanaa keeps a list of things he has promised himself he will do, his very own bucket list. One of the things he crossed off his list 2 years ago was participating in a male beauty pageant.
What I did was I was just doing my work and I was studying in Shanghai, so I was busy, but then country manager from Mongolia, she contacted me when I was in Shanghai. She was like, "Can you be a part of this competition?" And I was like, "Can I do that?" I couldn't believe myself. I was like, maybe I can do it because I'm not model material. But then I was like, okay, maybe I can work out, lose some weight, or I can challenge myself, and then I can travel to Australia. I lost like 10, maybe 13 kg, and I was working out like for 4 or 5 months. Then it was a good experience. I made friends from 40 other countries.
We mentioned that he's an avid traveler. Now let's share with you the reason why he started his travels in the first place. This necklace he's showing us was handmade and was a birthday present given to Zanaa by his best friend, who Zanaa tragically lost 5 years ago.
So here, I have like a few things, but this is a gift from my friend. He passed away in 2015, and that's when I started traveling. So he was also passionate about traveling too. So I keep this one as my gift, as presence of him traveling with me.
That time he realized how short one's life can be and that he didn't want to spend his life working in an office, especially his younger years. That's why he packed his bags and set off for adventure.
This is backpack. This is probably one and only body that I travel when I was traveling around. So I think it's like 50 liters. It's not too big, it's not too small, but it's my backpack when I'm traveling around. I actually bought this right before the traveling to South America and from Shanghai. Then this bag has a name Quechua, but then I didn't know what it means until I went to Peru, because Quechua is a indigenous language of Peru. So let me introduce what I'm traveling with. I usually carry all my gadgets, including my small GoPro camera, and here's my swimming pack. So I have all my goggles. Then you have to travel with your phone, camera. I usually listen to some audiobooks because I need to travel for like probably 20 or 30 hours in the bus, so I tend to listen to audiobooks. And then you can also read books on your Kindle when you're traveling. Then toiletries, sunglasses, and I also carry my power bank. And then here's my little notebook. It's really small. and easy to carry around. Then when you're like traveling, you need small shoes. Like you don't want to carry heavy, big boots, but you can do that. But if you're traveling to like Southern Hemisphere, you don't need to carry like heavy clothes. And then my rain, I think it's a rain cover for my backpack. So they all goes into this backpack, and it rains a lot in some certain part of the world. So I usually cover it with my rain cover, and that's pretty much it.
Zanaa first started traveling to Colombia when he studied there in 2015, and he traveled there again in 2017 and 2019. He says South America as a whole is his favorite travel destination. Do you want to know why?
First of all, it's quite far from our country, right? And then Amazon. I like watching birds. I think most beautiful birds, all those colorful, beautiful birds are in South America, in my opinion. So that's why I went there, to do some bird watching, hiking, swimming.
Apart from bird watching, the other traveling passion he discovered there is chasing solar eclipses.
Okay, solar eclipse, that was the last year, 2019. It was in July in Chile, South America. The experience was like beautiful, like something I would describe as beautiful and evocative in a way that the things change for like 2 minutes. Like birds are chirping or all the animals are squirreling. It was dark, and then after that, well, there's a diamond ring comes out. That's the best moment I've ever had. I want to chase like all the solar eclipses around the world.
You remember Zanaa's bucket list, right? He has already made many of those come true, such as bungee jumping and hang gliding. Other things that are on his list are scuba diving, jumping from a helicopter, and maybe climbing a tall mountain. Zanaa's bucket list is not all about just him traveling. He said he also wants to share it with the people he loves. For instance, he organized a trip to Thailand for his parents and celebrated the New Year there with them 2 years ago. That year, Zanaa also went on another family trip to Shanghai with his grandmother, who is 88 years old now. He recalls how happy they were and how wonderful that made him feel. Zanaa, can you share your future plans with us?
I make my plan for like 5 years. So last 5 years has been all traveling and learning. But next 5 years, I want to settle down and work for like certain international organizations. I do want to work in Mongolia because I'm from Mongolia, so I have probably a better chance to get along with most people here. But also, like, I want to grow my business in traveling. Yeah, I want to do my tour company in a way that I want Mongolians to travel to South America or some other exotic part of the world, and that's probably something I can give it back to my country.
Apart from working in Mongolia and running a tour company as a side job, Zanaa said he wants to open an English school that gives more children in Mongolia the chance to be well prepared for the future. His other dream, non-career related, is to travel to every UN member country by the age of 50. We're sure lots of our young viewers will look up to him and be proud of all his achievements. Let's hear what he has to say for the younger generation.
We have this certain stereotypical agenda where people has to work forever. I think you need to have like gap year in between. Then you can travel to a different country, then you'll probably learn about yourself. You'll probably not regret about doing that.
Thank you folks for staying with us for this episode of Generation with Zanabazar.
I'm thrilled and elated to be part of the Generation MNB World. And you've seen my whole day, and it was very enjoyable to spend some time with you. Bye.